poor countries hit by climate disasters to be compensated. The Conference of Parties to the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change has agreed to establish a fund to compensate for loss and damage that poor countries suffered from climate disasters. The UN said the deal is a step towards justice for victims of climate change. Negotiators at the Conference of Parties under the Egyptian presidency at Sharm el-Sheikh ended their meeting on November 20th with the adoption of a final document that includes the loss and damage deal. Developing and vulnerable nations have demanded that developed nations, including the biggest carbon polluters like China and the United States, pay for destructions caused by climate change such as floodings and wildfires because they contributed the least to climate change. The conference said it is committed to create a financial support structure for the most vulnerable by November 2023. The loss and damage program and creation of a new financial facility to compensate for climate disasters were key demands of developing countries. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres said,
"This COP has taken an important step towards justice. I welcome the decision to establish a loss and damage fund and to operationalize it in the coming period. Clearly, this will not be enough, but it is a much-needed political signal to rebuild broken trust."
Expressing his disappointment, Guterres pointed out that the final document left critical climate issues untouched.
We need to drastically reduce emissions now, and this is an issue this COP did not address. A fund for loss and damage is essential, but it's not an answer if the climate crisis washes a small island state off the map or turns an entire African country to desert. The Just Energy Transition partnerships are important pathways to accelerate the phasing out of coal and scaling up renewables. But we need much more. That is why I am pushing so hard for a climate solidarity pact. A pact in which all countries make an extra effort to reduce emissions this decade in line with 1.5-degree goal. A pact to mobilize, together with the international financial institutions and the private sector, financial and technical support for large emerging economies to accelerate their renewable energy transition.
Climate activists and civil society groups were present at the conference with messages calling on conference parties to take effective measures to fight climate change. But they were disappointed that their demands were not met. The UN chief also sent a message to them, saying,
"Finally, justice and ambition require the essential voice of civil society. The most vital energy source in the world is people power. That is why it's so important to understand the human rights dimension of climate action. To all of them, I say we share your frustration, but we need you now more than ever. Unlike the stories from the Sinai Peninsula, we cannot wait for a miracle from a mountaintop. It will take each and every one of us fighting in the trenches each and every day. Together, let's not relent in the fight for climate justice and climate ambition. We can and must win this battle for our lives."
The latest news on the United Nations and the world. Make sure to subscribe to this Facebook account by clicking the button above this video. See you next time.